Good morning. This is Pastor Jeff, and here for our daily lectionary readings, which are for today is Saturday, November 4th, 2023. Our psalm reading, once again, is going to be Psalm 43. Our Old Testament reading is going to be from the book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 6, and it'll carry on through chapter 2, verse 9. And then our New Testament reading is the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23, verses 13 through 28. And today I have put up the message. So let us listen in. Psalm 43. Clear my name, God. Stick up for me against these loveless, immoral people. Get me out of here, away from the lying degenerates. I counted on you, God. Why did you walk out on me? Why am I pacing the floor, wringing my hands over these outrageous people? Give me your lantern and compass. Give me a map so I can find my way to the sacred mountain, to the place of your presence, to enter the place of worship. Meet my exuberant God. Sense my thanks with a harp. Magnify God, my God. Why are you down in the dumps, dear soul? Why are you crying the blues? Fix my eyes on God. Soon I'll be praising again. He puts a smile on my face. He's my God. Our Old Testament reading coming from the book of Malachi. Isn't it true that a son honors his father and a worker his master? So, if I'm the father, who's the honor? If I'm your master, where's the respect? God of the angel armies is calling you on the carpet. You priests despise me. You say, not so. How do we despise you? By your shoddy, sloppy, defiling worship? You ask, what do you mean, defiling? What's defiling about it? When you say the altar of God is not important anymore, worship of God is no longer a priority, that's defiling. And when you offer worthless animals for sacrifice and worship, animals that you're trying to get rid of, blind and sick and crippled animals, isn't that defiling? Try a trick like that with your banker or your senator. How far do you think that will get you? God of the angel armies asks you, get on your knees and pray that I will be gracious to you. You priests have gotten everyone in trouble. With this kind of conduct, do you think that I'll pay attention to you? God of the angels' armies asks you, why doesn't one of you just shut the temple doors and lock them? Then none of you can get in and play at the religion with this silly, empty-headed worship. I am not pleased. The God of the angel armies is not pleased. And I don't want any more of this so-called worship. I am honored all over the world. And there are people who know how to worship me all over the world, who honor me by bringing their best to me. They're saying it everywhere. God is greater. This God of the angel armies, all except you. Instead of honoring me, you profane me. You profane me when you say worship is not important, and what we bring to worship is of no account. And when you say, I'm bored, this doesn't do anything for me, you act so superior, sticking your noses in the air. Act superior to me? God of the angel armies? And when you do offer something to me, it's a hand-me-down, or broken, or useless. Do you think I'm going to accept it? This is God speaking to you. A curse on the person who makes a big show of doing something great for me. An expensive sacrifice, say. And then, at the last minute, brings in something puny and worthless. I'm a great king, the God of angel armies, honored far and wide, and I'll not put up with it. And now, this indictment, you priest. If you refuse to obediently listen, and if you refuse to honor me, God of the angel armies, and worship, then I'll put you under a curse. I'll exchange all of your blessing for curses. In fact, the curses are already at work because you're not serious about honoring me. Yes, and the curse will extend to your children. I'm going to plaster your face with rotting garbage. Garbage thrown out from your feasts. That's what you'll have to look forward to. Maybe that'll wake you up. Maybe then you'll realize that I'm indicting you in order to put a new life in my covenant with the priest of Levi, the covenant of the God of the angel armies. My covenant with Levi was to give life and peace. I keep my covenant with him, and he honored me. He stood in reverent awe before me. He taught the truth and did not lie. He walked with me in peace and uprightness. He kept many out of the ditch, kept them on the road. It's the job of the priest to teach the truth. People are supposed to look to them for guidance. The priest is the messenger of God of the angel armies. But you priests have abandoned the ways of the priest. Your teaching has messed up so many lives. You have corrupted the covenant of priest Levi, God of the angel armies. You have corrupted the covenant of the priest. And so I am showing up for who you are. Everyone will be disgusted with you and avoid you because you don't live the way I told you to live. And you don't teach my revelation truly and impartially. Our New Testament reading comes from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 23, verses 13 through 28. I've had it with you. You are hopeless, you religious scholars, you Pharisees, frauds. Your lives are roadblocks to God's kingdom. You refuse to enter and won't let anyone else in either. You're hopeless. You religious scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You go halfway around the world to make a convert. But once you get him, you make him into a replica of yourself. Double damn. You are hopeless. What arrogant stupidity. You say if someone makes a promise with his fingers crossed, that's nothing. But if he swears his hand on the Bible, that's serious? What ignorance. Does the leather on the Bible carry more weight than the skin on your hands? And what about this piece of trivia? If you shake hands on a promise, that's nothing. But if you raise your hand that God is your witness, that's serious? What ridiculous hair splitting. What difference does it make whether you shake hands or raise hands? A promise is a promise. What difference does it make if you promise inside or outside of a house of worship? A promise is a promise. God is present, watching and holding you to account. Regardless, you are hopeless, you religious scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You keep meticulous account books, tithing on every nickel and dime you get. But on the meat of God's law, things like fairness, compassion, and commitment, the absolute basics, you carelessly take it or leave it. Careful bookkeeping is commendable, but the basics, they are required. Do you have any idea how silly you look writing a life story that's wrong from start to finish, nitpicking over commas and semicolons? You are hopeless, you religious scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You buffs the surface of your cups and bowls so they sparkle in the sun, while the insides are maggoty with your greed and gluttony. Stupid Pharisees, scour the insides, and then the gleaming surface will mean something. You are hopeless, you religious scholars and Pharisees, frauds. You're like manicured grave plots, grass clipped and the flowers bright. But 6 feet down, it's all rotting bones and worm-eating flesh. People look at you and they think that you are saints, but beneath the skin, you are total frauds. And here ends our readings for the day.